Lord. In Genesis chapter 30 and
Genesis chapter 30
and verse 4 and 9.
30, 4 and 9.
What I want to know is the handmaid of Rachel and Leah, were they Israelites, or they were like other nation? Like
okay, that again, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Well, let's read it. Genesis chapter 30.
We'll begin from the top.
Yes, begin from verse 1.
Genesis chapter 30, beginning at verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die.
Read.
And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, am I in Yahweh's stead, who have withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Yahweh have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son, therefore called she his name Dan.
All right. So the question you are asking is, repeat it again so everybody's clear.
The question I ask you is, the handmaid of Rachel and Leah, were they Israelite, or they are from the other nation?
All right. Well, but before I answer that, in your mind, what do you think?
I said, because what I came up with also, okay, I'll say the other nation. Other nation.
Okay, and why do you say that?
Because why did I say that?
Because it's easy for me to say yes or no. But you know, why do you say that? Because then you're just guessing, you see.
Because they were like a handmaid. You seldom see we treating our people back then as handmaid. You know what I mean? We have the other nation as our servant, but not our own.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Where did you stop, by the way?
I stopped at verse 6.
Verse 6?
Yes, sir.
Really? All right, go back and read verse 4 again for me, please.
Genesis chapter 30 and verse 4. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son.
All right. So go to Exodus chapter 1 and 15 for me.
1 and 15. Exodus chapter 1 and verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other, what's that, Paul? Verse 16. And he said, When ye do the office of the midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
All right, so go back, if you please, to Genesis chapter 30 and 4.
Genesis chapter 30 and verse 4.
And read from 3.
Verse 3. And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her.
All right, just before I answer the question, do you know why she actually said that? Why she said bear her upon her knees? Because what they would do in those days, because she was going to be a surrogate, she would be in the birthing stool, and she would have her come and sit in front of her. And as she's delivering the child, it's almost as if, because she's feeling every pain that she's feeling, so she's experiencing the same, or almost the same effects as the deliverer of the child. So then she could have more of a connection with the child when the child is born. That's the purpose behind that. That's why they did that. And that's why we went to Exodus chapter 1 and 15, so to get an understanding. All right, now back to your question. Do you have an answer yet, sir?
Well, I also said it because where we had Sarah.
You're dancing around a little bit, but
what was that? No, why I say why I come to a conclusion because it's the other nation, because we have Sarah when she took that what a lady from Egypt, forget the name, as a surrogate mother too.
all right, Genesis chapter 16 and 1, please. This is the information that you're really looking for.
Genesis chapter 16 and verse 1. Now, Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children,
Right.
and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold now, the Most High have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
Be his wife. So, any thoughts as yet?
Right there, yes.
Hmm?
Right there is clear and plain that it's our other nation.
Other nation.
All right.
Now, why would that be, sir?
Well, that was never the plan of the Most High.
Well, all right, because I'm trying to stretch you a little bit.
Right.
It is against the law to hold your brethren in any form of servitude, male or female. It's against the law. Now you can hold the other nations in servitude, but you cannot hold your own brethren. Let's say my brother here falls in hard times, and he then comes to work for you. He can only work for you up to a certain point, and after that point, it's ended.
Right.
And the law is, you cannot put any rigor on him.
Right.
You have to always remember he's your brother. So with any woman or male or female who is of us, their servitude has to be an act of working off their indebtedness, not a debt of rigorous slavery.
Yeah.
Only the other nations that can happen to. You see? So these women, that's why it was the other women of the other nations that were used like that. Why? Because according to Exodus chapter 1 and what? You tell me. No.
1 and 15.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Well, chapter 1 and 15, yes, but all right. My Salaki, I meant to say Numbers. Numbers what?
Oh, okay.
You got to get that one.
See, these are basic scriptures you have to know.
Okay, you got to get that
Numbers, go ahead and tell them what it is.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families.
After their families.
By the house of their fathers.
By the house of the fathers.
Okay.
Meaning that even if the father put his seed in another woman of another nation, it doesn't matter. It's not right, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't make that child illegitimate so long as the father is in ownership of who that child is. Remember, the same thing fell upon Moses with his son. You see, And then what happened, then our nation rose up and they started to have an austere view about those who were born of different mothers. But the Lord judged his brother and sisters for their actions with that. Moses' brother and sister. All right? So that's just a basic point, okay?
Yeah. All
right. Any other questions? Yes. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, the study we're doing today, the title is As a Man Thinketh. You must remember and you must keep in mind that your mind, your thoughts are the battleground for the enemy to fight you. The enemy will always try to make you doubt who you are.
That's right.
He will try to make you think of yourself as being less than who you are. And that's why when you read in the book of Revelations, chapter 2 and 9, let's read it. We always read it, but it's a go-to verse, but let's read it just to open up the thought pattern here.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works, and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not.
So he says, I know what?
And I know the blasphemy.
No, go back to the beginning.
And I know thy works.
I know your works.
And tribulation.
I know your tribulation. We as Israel go through much tribulation. Much. The scripture tells us that we are afflicted. But that's part of who we are at this time. So the enemy uses all of that, those afflictions, to make us see ourselves lowly. But now we have to go to another level with how we see ourselves. Even in the midst of our captivity, you have to see yourself different. Go to the book of Romans chapter 8 and 5. I may have to move you just a little bit quicker today, just a little bit, not too much. So Romans chapter, what did I say?
8 and 5.
Let's read.
The book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
So you have to be careful. The flesh can make you put it first and the things of the Most High second. So he says here, read it again.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
When you become so intoxicated by things that are fleshly, you have to take another perspective of who you are.
That's right.
You have to look internally, because here is telling you, if you get too caught up with the flesh, you're going to start minding the things of the flesh.
That's right.
But then it says,
but they that are after the Spirit.
But if you are spiritual, go on.
The things of the Spirit.
You will mind the things of the Spirit. Read on.
For to be carnally minded is death.
So if you're going to get so wrapped up in the things of this world, you are only aligning yourself with death. Why? Because the things of this world is going to die.
That's right.
It's going to perish. It's going to be destroyed. According to the scriptures, the things that we now have are all going to be destroyed. Then, read it.
But to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
See? So once you become spiritually minded, you are now entering into a place of life and peace. It's telling us. So now when we go to Jeremiah chapter 51, and let's read verse 19. Watch what it's telling us.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter.
There's a portion of Jacob, because it's trying to let you know that all of Jacob is not the same. Because 2/3 of Jacob is going to be destroyed.
That's right.
And only a portion, which is the 1/3, is going to make it. So it says a portion of Jacob is not like them. What category category do you fall into? Are you in that portion, or are you in the 2/3? Read on.
For he is the former of all things.
He's what?
He is the former of all things.
Read.
And Israel is the rod of his inheritance.
And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Israel is like a scepter. Why do we use the word scepter or rod? Because rods were used, and you'll notice that even in the kingdom, this is coming back big time in fashion.
That's right.
You're all going to have a rod. The men, that is. You're going to have a rod. Why? Because a rod is like a scepter. It's like a position. And it's letting you know that Israel, who's going to be like a scepter, is going to be over all of the nations. What does the king do with his scepter? When people come, he stretches it over them, meaning that you're covered by the royal scepter. And so he says in the latter clause now, let's finish it.
And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Most High of Hosts is his name.
And the Most High of Hosts is his name. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 16. Because you see, how you think really does affect everything else around you. It really does. So, Sirach, chapter 16, and we're going to read verse 23.
In the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 16 and verse 23. He that wanteth understanding.
So if you want to know something, and you want to get it, read.
Will think upon vain things.
Think upon vain things. And don't get your mind so caught up that you're dealing with things that are perishable. It doesn't mean that you don't deal with them. It just means that you don't make it the forefront, because it's already going to mess with you. Read.
And a foolish man erring imagineth follies.
See? So a foolish man in his erring, he imagines, he continues to see more destruction, things going abominably worse than what it is. But read on.
My son, hearken unto me.
So you have to listen to someone. Read.
And learn knowledge.
Learn knowledge.
And mark my words with thy heart.
Mark the words that you are learning. Read.
I will show it forth doctrine and weight.
I will show you teaching that is heavy.
And declare his knowledge exactly.
And do what?
And declare his knowledge exactly.
And declare his knowledge exactly. Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus, page 79 in your Apocrypha, if you've got a single Apocrypha, etc. All right? Very important that you get that. In fact, read 24 and 25 again, so people don't miss it.
Sirach, chapter 16, verse 24. My son, hearken unto me, and learn knowledge, and mark my words with thy heart. I will show forth doctrine and weight, and declare his knowledge exactly.
And do what?
And declare his knowledge exactly.
Read.
The works of the Most High are done in judgment from the beginning.
Stop right there. So all of his works are done in judgment from the very beginning. So everything that he does, it's on purpose. Look, when you look at your life and you see where you are right now, don't think, oh, this just is a coincidence. There is nothing coincidental about you coming into the truth. Nothing. It's purposeful. That's why the first clause of 26 says, what? The works of what?
The works of the Most High are done in judgment.
It's done in what?
In judgment.
In judgment.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So everything has been done the way it has been done from the beginning. I don't want to touch it. Let's leave that. All right. So let's go to Proverbs 24, please. Proverbs 24. The book of Proverbs, Salaki 30.
Proverbs 30.
30. Proverbs 30 and 32.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 32.
No. jumping ahead. Go back to 24. Go back to 24. We're still going to 30, but go back to 24.
God. 24, what verse?
Let's read verse 9.
Verse 9. The book of Proverbs, chapter 24, and verse 9. The thought of foolishness is sin.
See, so as a man thinketh. See, as a man thinketh. So it says the thought of foolishness is sin. Who would have thought that? You had a foolish thought, and you didn't know that it was sin. It's sin. It's written right there in black and white. The thought of foolishness is sin. Read.
And the scorner is an abomination to men.
Scorn is an abomination. Thinking foolishness is sin. Why is that so important? Tell me.
Because it's resonating in your mind. Because if you have it in your mind, definitely you're gonna play it at one time.
Yeah, it's certainly resident in your mind, but there's an even, and your point is well taken, but there's an even bigger situation at play. Go ahead.
The abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Absolutely. But here is the kicker to it. Everything you think is recorded. You thought it was everything that you said. Everything you think is recorded. There's an angel that's recording everything you think. Be careful what you think. Read it again, sir.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 9. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men.
2nd Ezra chapter 16. That's why I didn't want to jump to Proverbs 32 quickly, because you've got to give it in context. So 2nd Ezra chapter 16, I want to begin at verse 62. Now follow this very carefully, please, ladies and gentlemen.
In the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 62. Yea, in the spirit of the Almighty Yahweh, which made all things, and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth.
See? Now, in case you had trouble with that, in case you're having trouble with that, I want to make sure, make sure my brothers share your Apocrypha with him. Share your Apocrypha. You have it? Oh, all right. Good.
Oh, he got it in that book.
Good,
That's
good.
that. He got his sword sharpened. He got his sword sharpened.
If I was close, I'd give you a high five.
I remember that thing. And good.
Good.
All praises.
So, what you just read in 62, it resonates, right? Now let's see why it resonates. Read the verse before, 61.
2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 61. He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body.
He put man's heart in the midst of the body. Read.
And gave him breath of life and understanding.
Breath of life and understanding. Now that verse actually ties in with him making man from the dust of the earth. Meaning, this is the correct understanding in the book of Genesis, meaning he was given the laws, statutes, and commandments from the beginning. Not when Moses got it. Moses only received the written portion. Man received it verbally from the beginning.
That's right.
And all men were meant to pass it on to their sons and daughters verbally in the beginning. Now, when he says this, he made
2. Yea, in the spirit of the Almighty Yahweh, which made all things and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth.
the secrets of the earth, because remember, your body comes from the earth. So all secret things of the body of the earth, he knows about it. Wow, Pastor, you're blowing up my head. All right, let's read verse 62. Watch what it says.
Verse 63. Surely he knoweth your inventions.
He knows your inventions, the things that you're inventing and creating and thinking about, whether they be good or bad. Read.
And what ye think in your hearts.
In your hearts, because you know your heart literally doesn't think, so it's speaking about your mind.
God.
Read.
Even them that sin and would hide their sins.
See? So you thought if nobody sees it, nobody can accuse me of it. Wrong.
God.
You've got angels attached to you. And if you're Israel, believe me, you have them attached to you. The scripture says, the angels of the Most High encamp round about them that fear him.
Yeah.
So you've got a whole battalion camping around you. Why do you think when the enemy tried to rub you out of this existence, you're still here?
God.
Why do you think you go through certain things in life and you wonder, why me? He's testing you because there's something special about you.
That's
and the only way he can bring that out is through a process of testing.
That's right.
So, when we read 63 again, let's read it one more time.
63. Surely he knoweth your inventions, and what ye think in your hearts, even them that sin, and would hide their sin.
And would hide their sin.
God.
So now let's go to Proverbs 30 and 32 now. Now it'll make more sense. You'll understand why I had to go back. Okay. Go ahead.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 32. If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself.
See? Don't be bragging on yourself now. The one thing that the Most High God will not adhere to is someone who's braggadocious. I don't care how much word you know. Oh, I'm deep in this truth. All of that doesn't mean nothing to him because you know what? You still haven't scratched the surface yet.
No.
So he said, if thou hast done foolishly in lifting up yourself, read on, officer.
Or if thou hast thought evil.
There's the word thought.
God.
You thought, you got away with it when it was just a thought. Why do you think the scripture says that, let's say it was a good student in here, in the New Testament, let me give you a reference point. What is it that Yahushua says to a bunch of people about, I can't say mocha, but do you get it? What does he speak about? A certain sin.
Adultery.
Adultery. And what was he, how was he likening it to it? Can anyone remember that? Yeah.
He said, if you just may look at a lady, or just not just a lady, it could be the opposite. You just the mere fact your thought, what you your in your mind, what you're planning to
If
do.
you look at it, why? Because you see, looking is look. Once you've looked, you've completed it.
Yeah.
You were thinking it before. And look at here. So notice, your mind has already engaged before your eyes saw. You glimpsed it, but then you had to. You see, what happens is that's a thought before the action. And so he's saying that thought processes, you've messed up. Okay. Because he tells us clearly there, he says, or if thou hast what?
Thought evil.
Thought evil. Read.
Lay thy hand upon thy mouth.
Cover your mouth up. Don't even let those words come out of your mouth. Now you see how these scriptures are there, and they've always been there, by the way. Always been there. Makes you begin to realize there's more to this than what meets the eye. Let's go back to the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. And we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. And we're going to begin reading at verse 17.
In the Apocrypha, Sirach, chapter 23, verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Now he puts it clearly now. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Now remember, everyone can be a whoremonger, but the primary word for males are whoremongering. Men are whoremongers. Whereas one would call a woman a prostitute, men are whoremongers, chasing every skirt they see. Got no bridle upon their minds and their loins. And so it says, and remember, it says all bread is sweet, meaning he don't care what it looks like. He just wants it. And then it says, read,
he will not leave off till he dies.
See? So he will run after that thing until he's dead. And some of them do die, even in the process. Because he's not governing his thought. Because if you don't govern your thought, then you don't govern your body. And if you don't govern your body, then obviously your spirit's completely out of whack with you. You have to allow this word to permeate your mind, body, and spirit. Read on.
A man that breaketh wedlock, saying,
thus, hold it. See, we don't read over that too quickly for some of the brothers up in here. But make sure we catch it now. Read what it says.
A man that breaketh wedlock.
See, breaking wedlock? You call yourself a husband, and now you're straying into other graveyards. Read.
Saying thus in his heart, who
See, notice, it's speaking about his heart, but remember, anywhere we see the word heart in the scriptures, it's primarily speaking about the mind.
That's right.
Read.
Who seeth me?
Who sees me? Now what? Nobody sees me. Nobody's around from Houston. I'm in Louisiana. I can do what I want. No, you can. I'm flown across the world. I can do what I want now. Who's going to see me? Don't you think the one who made everything is seeing you? Knucklehead. Read.
I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody seeth me.
Read.
What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins.
See, he's got something to do with, he won't bother about me. That little old sin I'm doing here. He's concerned about everything you're doing.
That's
because his eye, the scripture says that if he knows, in the book of Matthew, if he knows when a sparrow will fall from a tree, in other words, he set the time for that sparrow to fall from the tree and die, you think he doesn't know about you, bro, sis? He know everything. Read on. 19.
Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not the eyes of the Most High.
Read.
Are 10,000 times brighter than
so
the sun.
Anything you hide in darkness, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter. Will he not see it? He's going to see it. He's going to see your eyes. He's going to see you with your actions. He's going to see your steps. Read on.
Beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts.
Read.
He knew all things.
Some things.
All things.
Read.
Or ever they were created. So also, after they were perfected, he looked upon them all.
Read.
This man shall be punished in the streets of the city.
He says, I will punish him publicly. I'll make a public display of his downfall. Read.
And where he suspecteth, and where he suspecteth not, he shall be taken.
Read.
Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband, and bringeth in an heir by another.
So it's now showing you that this plays out on both sides.
That's right.
Male or female. Jump back, if you, let me see. Chapter 15 and 17.
Pastor, you want questions now or later?
Is there a question online?
There are two, actually.
Go ahead.
The first one is from Mr. Reginald Charles. He says, who is destroying the 2/3 heathens? Or do the 1/3 get to put the wicked 2/3 to death?
All right. So read it one more. Your attention to me, please. Forget about him. All right. So read it again for me.
He says, Who is destroying the 2/3 heathen?
Who is destroying the 2/3 heathen?
Or do the 1/3 get to be put? Or do the 1/3 get to put the wicked 2/3 to death?
No. The children who are the 2/3, they have to be destroyed by the Most High God. In fact, check out the lesson on the Sabbath. That'll explain that completely. So make sure that you tune in on the Sabbath. You'll get complete clarity and revelation on that. All right, second question.
Mr. Nice Guy, some thoughts seem to be random. How can we control all negative thoughts?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Because sometimes you don't want to think a thing, but you saw something and it triggers a chain of other thoughts. You have to have a means to stop that. You have to use triggers. Every now and then you'll hear me say, mm-hmm. I'm just giving it away. Over all the years I say that. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to someone, and because it's my way of controlling where my thoughts go within the conversation. And if someone's getting all up in your face, right, and you know it could get ugly, you have to have something to kind of close your mind so that you become more peaceful. Because it's easy to allow your flesh to become provoked. So you have to either learn to have something to stop that trigger, i.e. whether it be a song, whether it be an action, whether it be you, maybe, I know some men, they rub their face, or some men, they rub their head. Have you ever seen that? They go, because of what's in them that they want to do. You have to find something that allows you to switch that off. That's right. There's a scripture that I've used for years, from a young man till now. When anything that would provoke or cause temptation, the scripture I use, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. That's right. I quote that in my mind all the time. When someone's getting me on the wrong side of me, I say, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Because, and what it will do, it will bring you at peace. For me, it brings me at peace. So you have to find something that will stop that from happening. All right. We'll take the rest of the questions a little bit later. All right, so Matthew chapter 15 and 17, let's read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 17. Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly?
It goes into the bathroom. Go ahead.
And is cast out into the draught.
Go on.
But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart.
See, so you have, or from the mind. So you have to be careful about the things that you allow to build up in you. That's why you must never let grudges build up. And some people don't know how to deal with grudge or deal with upset. I like to deal with it right there. Because the scripture says, it's in Proverbs, I think it is. I don't know. It says something, words to the effect that better to have a straight word from a friend than to, I can't remember it. Let me, just bear with me a quick moment. I can't remember it. I just can't remember it. So let's leave it. But it's about better that you say something to a friend right there than to and be brash with the friend right there, than to have sweet words later in bitterness. Words to that effect. Because it is better to get things out. People leave things way too long. And you let it build and build. Deal with it whilst it is fresh. All right? Okay, so continue to read. So read up just a little bit more.
Yes, sir. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemy.
See, all those things come out of your mind. You see? Let's go to chapter 23. St. Matthew, chapter 23, and begin at verse 26.
St. Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 26.
Read.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
Read it again. 26 and 20. Read 26.
For Salaki, wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
Go to 26.
Verse 20, chapter 26.
No, chapter 23, verse 26.
I just read that. Salaki. Damn.
See, because you're going to be patient, you see.
Yes, sir. Matthew chapter 23, verse 26. Thou blind Pharisees,
Go on.
cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter,
Read.
that the outside of them may be clean also.
See, so there's something the scripture says like you're like a white wall, a white sepulchre. That's in the next verse. Read verse 27.
Verse 27. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward.
See, so there are many people who look nice outwardly, but they're not nice on the inside. Not nice at all. Go on.
But are within full of dead men's bones,
Read.
and are all uncleanness.
See? So it's letting you know that, you've got to be careful of what you look at the outside. And be careful that you are not looking one way on the outside, sounding nice and sounding good, but really the inside of you is putrid. That's why the next verse says this. Read 28.
Verse 28. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men.
See, you appear righteous, go on.
But within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity.
See? So you have to be mindful of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Must be mindful. That's why the Most High said to his disciples, be on the double watch. They just thought, watch out there. He's speaking about everything. Because your own flesh can betray you.
That's right.
Go to Sirach, chapter 23 and 1. This is a prayer, by the way, and this is the prayer that we should be saying. But watch it now. Read.
Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 1. Most High, Yahweh, and governor of all my whole life,
Read.
lead me not to their counsels, and let me not fall by them. Who will set scourges over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom?
So you notice we're dealing with the mind, we're dealing with thoughts, we're dealing with meditation. I'm just trying to keep you focused that as a man thinketh. I don't want you to lose that premise, but continue, sir.
And the discipline of wisdom over mine heart.
Read.
That they spare me not for mine ignorances, and it pass not by my sins, lest mine ignorances increase, and my sins abound to my destruction.
Read.
And I fall before mine adversaries, and mine enemy rejoice over me, whose host is far from thy mercy.
Read.
O Most High Yahweh, and Salaki, and God of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind.
Read.
Turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence, and thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee.
Read.
Let not the greediness of the belly nor lust of the flesh take hold of me.
Take hold of me.
Come.
Read.
And give not over me thy servant into an
You have to watch your actions. Because now when you jump to verse 9, watch what it says.
Come. Verse 9. Accustom not thy mouth to swearing.
Read.
Neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One.
Jump to 11.
Verse 11. A man that useth much swearing shall be filled with iniquity.
Read.
And in the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him.
Read.
And if he acknowledge not his sin, he maketh a double offense.
See? Double. Read on.
And if his sin, he maketh a double offense, and if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamity.
See that? So you have to watch your mouth, watch your mind, watch your heart. You have to watch it. Sometimes, there's another scripture we won't go to because of time. It says sometimes it's just good just to be silent. Just keep silent. Hold your tongue. Because some things will take you off. Now let's go, if you please, to Psalms 1 and 1. We all know that Psalm. Let's go there. Psalms 1 and 1. I'm doing good for time, so we'll be good at
Yes, sir.
everything in. Go ahead, sir.
The book of Psalms, chapter 1. Salaki, the book of Psalms, chapter 101, verse 1. Beginning at verse 1. I will sing of mercy.
Psalms chapter 1 and 1.
I don't know where I'm at today. Psalms chapter 1 and 1.
As a man thinketh. Go ahead.
Come. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly.
See? So it says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. You should never have a quick step to be in the counsel of those that are not righteous before the Most High God. You can't, some of us, we're quick to, hey, come on, Frank, Larry, let's go, blah, blah, blah. You have to be prepared to say, no, I'm not going. But your weakness is in your ability not to stand for what you know is right. And that, unfortunately, is an action that's prevalent throughout the world, especially where Israel is concerned. We are like sheep. In the book of Proverbs, it says that we learn these things. But that one I will find because I think it's Proverbs chapter 13. Just bear with me a quick minute. That one I definitely want to find. Bear with me. Say again? Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 26.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 12 and verse 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
See, so we are more excellent than our neighbors, which are the other nations. Read.
But the way of the wicked seduceth them.
See, but we're easily seduced. See? We're easily seduced. We're seduced by the things that they have and we want. Sometimes you have to turn around every now and then and look at what you have and say, I've got a lot here. For someone who's a slave, for someone who's still in captivity, oh, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai has blessed me. You have to turn your eyes a little bit. Then you have to look at your health. Then you look at them and see where they are. Why is it that you're the same age as them, but you look years younger, move years younger, act years younger? Because the hand of the Most High God is on you.
God.
Sometimes we want everything that they have. We don't even look around. When you look around and see what the Most High has done for you, say, wow.
Psalm 73.
I shouldn't be complaining. See that? So let's go back, if you please, to Psalms chapter 1, verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 1 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly,
Read.
nor standeth in the way of sinners.
Nor do what?
Nor standeth in the way of sinners.
Don't stand in their way. Go on.
Nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
Don't be having counsel with them. Read.
But his delight
Here it is.
is in the law of the Most High.
In the law of his word, you are going to be delighted. Read.
And in his law doth he meditate day and night.
Day and night.
Joshua 1 and 8.
Let's go there right now. That's the one I was going to. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. Let's read.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
See, so blessed is the man who does not walk not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor sit in the seat of sinners. But then when we jump to verse 3, it says, but his delight is in the what?
In the law.
In the law. And then when we read Joshua chapter 1 and 8, it says, this book of the law shall what?
Not depart out of thy mouth.
It should be something you're talking about all the time.
That's right.
Read.
But thou shalt meditate therein.
Now you're understanding, you can't meditate on what you haven't taken in. You have to read the scriptures. Yes, it's good to listen to it, and I encourage everyone to listen to it on whatever audio system you have. Good to, but don't listen to it and you're preoccupied doing 100 other things, because you're not getting the meat of it. If you're going to listen to it and concentrate on it. Because it tells you clearly here, it says that you must allow it to be meditated upon. But thou shalt meditate therein when?
Day and night.
So it's a day and night job. Whilst you're going through your job during the day, there should be a word that comes to you and you're meditating on that.
That's right.
It's getting you through your days. It's empowering you. It's giving you extra vigor. Read.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
Some of what's written therein.
To do according to all that is written therein.
All that is written therein. Read.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
Notice, you will make your way prosperous because you're keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
Read.
Then thou shalt have good success.
It says you're going to have good success. That means you don't have to worry about the system of this world. Because they only promise you some things, but you know what? The Most High God will give you everything. Is anything too hard for the Most High?
No.
Come on.
Philippians right there.
In fact, let's read verse 9. He said, have not I commanded thee?
Come. Be strong and of good courage.
So he's telling you, be strong. Read.
Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed.
And don't be dismayed. Go on.
For the Most High thy Yahweh is with thee, whithersoever thou goest.
So whatever you go through, he's with you. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. He's with you. How many times do you need him to say it to you for you to believe it? See? All right, let's go from there, if you please. Let's go back to Sirach. You notice I've been staying there. Sirach chapter 6. Sirach chapter 6 and verse 36. It's easy to remember. Let's read.
Sirach chapter 6 and verse 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee...
Hold it. Before, let's just jump back and read 35, because, again, I need to make sure that this is dropping on the right.
Come. Sirach chapter 6, verse 35. Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
So you need to be willing first to hear. Some of us, we don't want to hear, heard it all before. No, you haven't. How many times we met people say, I've read the whole Bible. And then you say to them, okay, so explain blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a matter of opinion. No opinion. Because the Bible...
escape thee.
See? Watch it now. Read.
And if thou seest a man of understanding.
And if you have found a man of understanding,
get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Many, many years ago, I left England, came all the way to America to find such a man. And I was a much, much younger man back then. And I came, I took my wife and came over, left everything, sold everything, got rid of everything, and came over here and started all over again because I wanted to be taught. I wanted someone who knew something deep in this truth that they could open up my mind and understand it. And I found a good man who blessed until the day he died. But what some of us do, we play hopscotch. I'm with this one today, I'm with that one tomorrow. You are so ignorant. The scripture says, read it again, 36.
If thou seest a man of understanding,
Read.
get thee betimes unto him.
Read.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Don't leave him. And I never left this man for over 30-something years. I stuck with him. And he taught me everything. Even how to be a good wife, good husband, good father. I raised my children, and I haven't, when I think about what people go through raising children, I haven't been through that. Now, I'm not saying for bragging, but I'm saying it like this. When you apply this word,
That's right.
it will be a blessing to your heart if you follow correctly. The scripture says, the steps of a good man are what? Ordered. That means someone, somewhere, had pre-done the steps that this man or woman is going to make in order for them to get where they need to get. The word tells us that. All right. Read on just a little bit more for me, sir. Read on.
Verse 37. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances.
Let your mind be what?
Let thy mind be upon the ordinances.
As a man thinketh, ordinances are laws. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances, read, sir,
of the Most High.
Read.
And meditate.
And do what?
And meditate.
And meditate.
Continually in his commandments.
Finish it.
And he shall establish thine heart.
And see, then your mind will be established. You won't be wishy-washy.
Hey.
You won't be one of these husbands that, well, oh God, where did I find him? You know? You'll be someone that your wife looks up to and it feels good being around you. Come on, brother.
You better speak, Pastor.
Let's go from there. If you bring it back to Psalms. In fact, no, let's stay there for a minute. Go to chapter 14. Chapter 14. Chapter 14 and 20. Let's read.
Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 20. Blessed is the man that doth meditate.
What?
Blessed is the man that doth meditate.
So you have to meditate. It says, blessed is the man that doth meditate. How?
Good thing.
What?
Good thing.
Read.
In wisdom.
Read.
And that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding.
By his understanding. Finish. Go to 21.
Verse 21. He that considereth her ways in his heart shall also have understanding in her secrets.
See, so he will reveal things. And that's why when you get good teaching, when you start to read this scripture, after a while it starts to come together and you start, whoa, this is good. It's like someone taught you how to drive a car. Now you're sitting in a car, you know how you do. You get down low and you're relaxing and driving now because it's become second nature to you because you were taught, well, your confidence has risen. This word will be comforted to you. Let's go to Psalms 119, please. Psalms 119. And well, we've got a few more scriptures, so we're nearly through. Psalms 119 and verse 15.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. Psalms 119, verse 15.
Yes, sir. The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 15.
Read.
I will meditate.
I will what?
I will meditate.
There's that word. We have to meditate on the scriptures. Gentlemen, sisters, we must meditate. Don't let your meditation begin the day before you come to Sabbath or Bible class. You need to be breaking yourself into a habit where you just want to keep getting into this word. I will meditate in the precepts. Go on.
And have respect unto thy ways.
Unto thy ways. Read.
I will delight.
I will what?
I will delight.
I will what?
I will delight.
I will delight
myself in thy statutes.
In thy statutes.
I will not forget thy word.
I will not forget thy word. That ties in with Psalms chapter 1 and verse 2. Right? Okay, let's go to Genesis chapter 24 and 63.
Genesis 24, 63.
Correct. Let's read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 24, and verse 63.
Read.
And Isaac went out to meditate in
So you see, even Isaac went out, and what did it say he did?
Went out to meditate.
And meditate. Now, watch this. He teaches us that meditation is different for all of us. Finish it, officer.
To meditate in the field.
And where?
In the field.
In the field. Because sometimes, some meditate when you go for a nice long walk. Some meditate when you run. I used to like to run because it allowed my mind it cleared my mind and allowed me to just see things more focusedly back in that time. In fact, not so long ago. But here's the thing. You have to find what works good for you. Sometimes just sitting in your garden, or maybe in a quiet part of your house. That sometimes is good for you just to meditate. Meditate is thinking on the things that are above. This word comes from above. Oh, but it was written by man, to you obstinate ones. No, but Israel is from above. So it was written by Israel who came from above.
That's right.
If you want to argue that. And so it goes on to say, after meditating in the field, and then what does it say, officer?
And he lifted up his eyes and saw.
Go back. He meditated in the field
at the eventide.
At the evening, showing you that you can do it in the morning, or you can do it at the evening, or in the noonday.
That's right.
Find a time. Now watch what it goes on to say now. Read.
And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming.
Now, this was now the camels coming to bring his wife Rebecca. Now, why is that so important? Because meditation is like seeing. It's thinking and seeing. Remember, as a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
So then if you're going to think, what is it that you want the Most High God to do for you?
That's right.
My goal, I'm thinking that he's going to increase this particular branch of ministry or of his service, trifold, in a multiplicity way.
That's right.
That's what I'm thinking.
God.
And I can't let anything stop me from not thinking that. Because you have to imagine what the Most High God will do. And remember what we just discovered. That he has angels who writes down our thoughts and carries your thoughts to the Most High.
That's right.
So he knows everything. It's on display. Remember, your tears are gathered. All right, let's move ahead. Go with me now back to Genesis. No, let's go to Sirach. Good time. Let's go back to Sirach, chapter 39, and we're going to read verse 1.
Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1.
Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1. Read.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied
Is what?
And is occupied in the meditation thereof.
See? So it's telling you that you must be occupied in the meditation thereof. Read.
Will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients.
Read.
And be occupied in the prophets shall he meditate.
See? So any secret thoughts, he knows about it. You can't get away from that. Now, it's in Tobit, where the angel says that he wrote down everything that they did, even their thoughts. Let me see if I can find it real quickly for you. Tobit chapter 12. Tobit chapter 12. Chapter 12. And read. Read 11.
Tobit chapter 12 and verse 11. Surely I will keep close nothing from you, for I said, it was good to keep close to the secret of a king, but that it was honorable to reveal the works of the Most High.
Read.
Now therefore, when thou didst pray, and Sarah thy daughter-in-law, I did bring the remembrance of your prayers before the Holy One.
Read.
And when thou didst bury the dead.
So you notice he did bring the prayers of who?
Before the Holy One.
Go on.
And when thou didst bury the dead, I was with thee likewise.
See that? So it's letting you know, jump to verse 15.
Verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One.
See that? Jump to 20.
Verse 20. Now therefore, give Yahweh thanks, for I go up to him that sent me, but write all things which are done in a book.
See? So everything is recorded. Every thought, every action, every word, every deed is recorded. We don't get away with nothing. So don't think Most High missed it. He sees everything. And that's why when you do good, don't be kind of surprised when you get blessed. Because he rewards his things. All right, for final 2 scriptures, let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 4 and 1 Timothy chapter 4 and 12. Go ahead.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 12. Let no man despise thy youth.
So, this is something that I've always been an advocate of. I always encourage young men and young women to push forward, not to hold themselves back. And I'm not sure, I don't feel this way. Forget how you feel. The scripture here says, let no man despise thy youth, but read.
But be thou an example of the believers in word,
read,
in conversation,
read,
in charity,
read,
in spirit,
read,
in faith, in purity.
See, so those are the examples you have to set. So you've got some big shoes to fill here.
That's right.
Read on.
Till I come, give attendance to reading, to...
Did I just miss that? Have I not been saying that you've got to read the scriptures?
Come.
Read it again, sir.
Till I come, give attendance to reading.
Read.
To exhortation, to doctrine.
So to reading, to exhortation, to encouragement, and to teaching. Read.
Neglect not the gift that is in thee,
read,
which was given thee by prophecy.
By prophecy. Prophecy, the word, reading it. Read.
With the laying on of the hands of the presbytery.
Read.
Meditate upon these things. Give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all.
So the profiting that you get from it will appear to all. Meaning, a person will see how you've grown.
That's right.
The profiting is when a person says, boy, I remember when you didn't put the script. Look at you now. That's the profiting. That your ability now to break up the scriptures and understand it and explain it when you couldn't before. That's the profiting. Last scripture of the night. Let's go to Romans chapter 1 and 25.
The book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie?
See, the truth has been changed. Who did it? Hold that right there. Don't miss it. Don't miss that. Hold that scripture, run to 2 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 15.
2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 15.
Correct. You're getting it now.
Second Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
See, we began to love what those Grecians were doing. Read on.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
See, we desire to be like our enemies in all things. No wonder he's been pushing us to meditate on the word. Because we are a bunch of people that can easily be corrupted.
That's right.
All right, let's go back. Let's finish Romans chapter. I'm sorry about that. I did say it was the last scripture, but that was a precept.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie,
Read.
And worship and serve the creature more than the Creator,
Read.
who is blessed forever. Amen.
Amen. Let's go from there. Jump back to verse 20. Just for a quick minute.
Romans chapter 1 verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things which are made, even his eternal power and Godhead,
Read.
so that they are without excuse.
Well, without excuse, read on.
Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations,
Read.
and in their foolish heart was
Read.
darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
Because we have allowed our enemies to teach us the truth. And that's why we're in the mess where we're in.
That's
Because
right.
we believe everything that they've taught us to such a degree, it's hard for us to unfold ourselves from that now to get the true doctrine of his word. How does your enemy teach you your book? Makes no sense. And that's why you hear them say, oh, well, I speak Hebrew. And then you say, no, you don't speak Hebrew.
That's right.
You don't, you speak Yiddish.
That's right.
You see? Oh, but I do know some of the ancient Hebrew. And then when you study what that type of ancient Hebrew they're given to you, it's not with the right spirit. That's why you'll find that we, Israel, when we speak Paleo Hebrew, it comes with our spirit. That's why we sound it out differently. Because it's coming from way back in ancient times, in our spirit. It can't come way back for them.
That's right.
Because it never began with them. Just finish that verse that you're reading, so.
Verse 23, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Most High into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things.
Creeping things. We'll stop there. So it's a little bit heavy tonight, just a little bit. But I hope that it has been edifying.
Yes, sir.
I hope that those of you online have been certainly blessed by the teaching. And please do continue to tune into us, and please do subscribe and like us, and please do recommend your friends, families, and neighbors to this teaching. Our whole objectivity is to wake up our people. This is not about us trying to build a mega church. It's about us trying to build a mega 1/3. Hello. So it's about the elect. We're trying to wake up our men and women to the truth who are of Israel. Now, if there happen to be any questions out there, we'll take those very, very quickly before we close for tonight. There be? Okay, so none? All right. So to all of you, again, we want to thank you for all of your support, all of the offertory offerings that you send in and your donations. We thank you. We pray that you continue to do that and support us. You can find us on the link by going to our website, which is NMCC Hebrew Academy, and you'll also find information that's speaking about the feast that we're looking to enjoy just in a few weeks' time. So please get yourself together, and we're going to have a wonderful time in the Most High God. So we bid you shalom, and we see you on the Sabbath. Okay, is there any questions from